The mystery of no John Kelly on today's SETI Bimco.
He had a equipment malfunction. That's all. Don't mean to sound mysterious. I was just like, how do I say it?
Well, it's a very delicate way of putting that his bladder malfunctioned and he urinated himself in public.
Let's get to the show.
I keep telling him he's got to stop chugging that olive oil.
I don't even understand it.
It's SETI Bimco Part 2, The Revenge. The show where we create revenge sequels that nobody wanted. I'll find you, unless your name is Waldo, in which case I can never seem to find you.
It's SETI Bimco Part 2, The Revenge Show that daydreams about revenge sequels that were never made. Part 2, The Revenge. I didn't say that, did I?
Revenge? What part?
Part 2, The Revenge. It's all about revenge.
It's all about revenge.
And after we watch this movie, we usually have a wild card question. And we usually do, and today we do also.
Uh-oh, what is it?
We ask, who from this movie would be most likely to become the manager of a professional wrestler? That sounds familiar to me, but I know we didn't do it.
Are you sure? I feel like we might have.
Professional wrestler. Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
Can you believe we get to the end of these and I can't remember that?
Yeah. I'm actually writing it down because visual aid for people at home. I'm holding up my blank notebook. I took exactly no notes for this movie whatsoever.
Wait, we'll get to the movie. We'll get to the movie.
So the note is professional wrestler. That's all it's going to say under. What was this called again? 5
Minutes to Love.
All right. Yeah. Woo!
Later this hour, we're going to talk about the movie John picked, and poor John's not here.
Well, that's because we cut him out because he kept talking over each other. Somebody had to go, and because he had his unfortunate bladder accident, he was on the chopping block today. Next week it might be me. Who knows? I'm drinking a lot of water.
The chopping block. Is that the name of the show?
Ooh, that could be the name of it. And we just watched Chopping Mall over and over again. There is some podcast. There was some podcast where it was like every single week they watched the same movie.
What?
And it was like, yeah, and it was their descent into madness. Like
I would do that. I would do that.
Of course you would, because you make you make SETI Bimco. It's all about establishing pain. When it's a Tim movie, viewers at home, if you watch along with this, don't watch the Tim episodes because you will. It's like smoking a cigarette. You're actually shaving valuable weeks of your life off every time you watch a Tim Hamilton chosen movie.
No, they're laughing.
No, they're not.
Listen,
nobody laughs at a Tim Hamilton movie.
You know why this is weird and true? I won't say why. Technical reasons. I was listening, dear listener, to one of the first episodes that George filled in on. It was Revenge of the Blob. And I was listening I won't get into it. It's just technical stuff. And I was like, oh, listen to George. He's so happy. He's yes-anding. We're joking. And since then, last week was like, shut up, Tim. You're not talking about it right. I'm going to talk about it. Screw your jokes.
My new thing, I go off and I do push-ups or pull-ups, which oddly was a feature of this movie.
True.
I thought that was weird. I wish we didn't have to cut John completely out of the audio this time because he could undoubtedly answer if that was one of the reasons why he chose this movie.
I don't know if he'd seen this movie. I don't know anyone who's seen this movie. But
no, I don't even think Rue McClanahan has seen this movie. I don't think this movie. Yeah, this movie.
This is going to get us hits because the young children, they're into Golden Girls and Murder, She Wrote for some reason. Like the young people are into that. Can you name the plot of one Golden Girls episode? I can't.
I think many years ago, my family and I went to Disney MGM Studios. And I was pulled out of an audience to act in they had a thing where you could be inserted into an episode of Golden Girls.
What?
And not a real episode. Like they would like kind of run the film and like you were given like they dressed us up in costumes.
What?
And it was like, yeah, seriously. And you were cut into, you would say these lines you were on like a facsimile of the Golden Girls set. And
wait, how old were you? Wait, how old?
I was pretty young. Definitely.
But I mean, what character are you playing on Golden Girls?
So what they did was this particular episode, two private eyes or detectives came to the door.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got to interact with the Golden Girls, but they were in their own scene having interactions with people, and I got to make some joke like, "Whoa, that Blanche sure has a lot of sex," or something like that. That's all I remember.
Wait, this is real? I thought this was leading to an elaborate joke.
This is real. This is a real thing that they would do there. Like, I remember I was wearing they put a jacket on me that was way too big, and they put but because I'm a large-headed child and adult, they put a fedora on me that fit fine.
Didn't they just grab two other kids and pile you on top of each other and put a coat around you so you could be Golden Girls?
I was a kid, and the other person was like an old man. And I'm like,
well, yes.
I probably should have chosen an old man. I think my family just pointed at me like, put this guy on stage.
No, I think the three kids, they should have said, no, you're going to stand on each other's shoulders. We're going to put an overcoat on you. You're gonna,
I tell you, if they did that, I would have snuck right out of there and looked for the nearest R-rated movie. And
we're going
to see some naked ladies.
Your episode is you get to go out on a date with Blanche.
Tim, question.
What?
Have you seen Golden Girls recently?
No, I can't even name an episode plot.
Okay, they're not as old as we remember because, people aged differently back then. Yeah. So imagine at the Golden Girls at their height, you have to go on a date with one of them.
Betty White.
Betty White?
Yes.
All right. I noticed there was no hesitation.
No hesitation.
There at all. No hesitation. Like, is producer Miss Lee there?
Nope.
Okay, that's why
She loves Betty White too.
Ooh, Betty White sandwich.
Yes, with a sprinkle of Danny Kaye.
No, stop. See, this is why I no but you. Because you make running jokes out of things nobody could ever like. Why the Danny Kaye? I even asked you. I'm like, why are you saying Danny Kaye?
Who doesn't like Danny Kaye?
Who doesn't even know who Danny Kaye is?
People, if you watch, what's one where he's in the castle? He's the jester, or
was he in Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court?
The movie where he's the back in medieval days, a guy would come around and he'd be the something. Damn it.
The executioner.
No, he's like in charge.
The plague doctor.
They mistake him for the man in charge. That's the joke. He's like, what?
Prince and the Pauper? Is it a Prince and the Pauper that he did?
No.
See, that's the thing. These movies are so old. They practically like silent films.
Well, never mind. No one knows who I'm talking about. All right. I had so much to talk about.
We'll talk about some of it. I'll play the part of John. Actually,
did you have a story? I didn't even ask you. I'm so rude.
I watched a really bad movie for this podcast I'm on.
You know what happened to me? Oh, you got something?
What happened? Oh, wait. I wanted to talk about our experience where you and I went out with our friend on the show, and we went to your favorite bar, and because you didn't have bananas, you were... So, for everybody, So, listeners to SETI BIMCO should know that the word of Tim Hamilton is often held up to be suspect. There are many times where both John and I doubt the veracity of what Tim is saying. And Tim's been talking a lot recently about his adventures going to a local bar with carrying bananas and charming famous supermodels with said bunch of bananas.
And I went there once.
But you charmed her. She was like, I like your bananas. You're like, my bananas are very nice. I have a whole bunch of bananas. And she asked the ladies, like, are you his wife? Because I want this banana man. And this woman's like, you're both terrifying me. I'm calling the police. Well, I may have getting some of the details wrong, but like Tim and our friend Chris, who has come up on this podcast as a test to see if he listens.
Because because if the bus is more than 5 minutes, I don't go visit him.
Because Tim, the champion of friendship, Tim Hamilton. If I have to wait more than 5 minutes, I'll just stay home and buy bananas.
But he came to our
the three of us.
Yes.
Yeah, we went to this because it's kind of my neighborhood. It's adjunct to my neighborhood. It's a little bit further for Chris. We went to this bar, which I won't mention because we don't want people swarming this with bunches of bananas.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, because we were there. Tim does not have bananas. This is key to the story. We're hanging out. Tim allegedly had a couple drinks before I arrived, but I saw no evidence of that. I was drinking. Chris was drinking. Tim had the remains of a drink. He was eating some French fries and some crunchy chicken bits. And lo and behold, the famous supermodel, whose name I'm not going to remember, comes in.
Alec Wick or Wick. I don't know how
Alec Wick. John Wick.
W-E-E-K.
John Wick comes in.
Not sure how you
Look
pronounce
her up.
that.
She's very famous. Yeah. And she looks right past Tim, like stares blank, like he's a window. Because without bananas, she has complete face blindness. And I realize that's her secret. She only recognizes people by the fruit they're carrying.
She saw you guys. That's what happened.
Oh, you think we scared her off?
Yes. So it was a short conversation, and she obviously has face blindness, not to remember my face.
Clearly. But I can affirm to listeners of Seti Bimco, who no doubt listen to this, despite all the Danny Kaye references and all the Osmond references, and like the God forbid he keeps going with the Pat Boone references he started. But yes, this one particular supermodel does hang out at this one particular bar near Tim and my house.
Yeah, that's all.
Good story.
Good story. I'm yes-anding it. You know who else hangs out in our neighborhood that I forget his name. He played in the new Batman. He played Commissioner Gordon. What's his name?
I know who you're talking about. He's also plays the guy in James Bond.
In Westworld. He's black.
There's
man.
A couple guys that play James
Bond.
The
brand new. You didn't watch the brand new Batman?
Nah. Well, I did, but I can't remember his name. He also plays the CIA agent guy in the James Bond movies.
Oh, okay.
And he played Uatu, the Watcher.
That's right. Yeah, he hangs out in a neighborhood somewhere. Well, nobody cares.
Nobody cares. He plays Felix Leiter.
I walk down the street in my neighborhood, and there's 20 rats on one little sidewalk.
Jeffrey Wright. That's who we're talking about.
Jeffrey Wright.
Are you calling Jeffrey Wright a rat, Tim?
Nope. I'm saying.
You're just bragging?
Okay.
I feel like I need to carry some of John's narratives while in his absence. So let's see. I went to my stepfather's cemetery, and
oh, come on.
The sister of the guy who wrote The Pirates of Penzance had accidentally carved his initials into my stepfather's grave.
This is you?
I'm John right now. Pretend I'm John. And I fucking murdered her.
Okay.
Yeah, I stabbed her to death, dragged her up to the train tracks, left her on the train. Now she's flat. Yep.
I'm gonna yes and that.
Yeah.
Even though
into it, Tim. It's me, everybody. John Kelly. Oh! Now I'm gonna pretend to be Kevin Cablasto.
What?
I watched a spaghetti western and I hated it, but I watched a Freddy and I loved it. That's my Kevin Cablasto.
Wow.
This is good. Who else should I be? I'm the man of 1,000 voices.
Mr. Potter from It's a Wonderful Life. Can you do him?
I'm trying. All I can remember is like, "You're rotten kid." He just boxes his ears. Box your ears. I'll box your ears. Oh, Mr. Potter. Oh no, don't box my ears, Mr. Potter.
No, that was the owner of the drugstore.
Yeah, Mr. Potter boxes his ears because he doesn't bring the medicine.
No, I mean the bad guy. Is that Mr. Potter?
Oh, that's no. Mr. Potter is the one. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought Mr. Potter runs the drugstore.
I thought it was
who is it?
Old Man Potter's place. I don't know. I thought that's what.
Oh, you might be right. Yeah, because that's Saturday Night Live. I don't know how to do that.
All right.
That's Drew Barrymore's great grandpa.
All right, let's end this. All ruined.
It sucks. It's all awful. Let's talk about this movie. Speaking of awful, let's talk about this movie.
Should we do that? Okay.
Yeah.
Do
you want to talk about a news story? Oh yeah, what's the news story?
What was it? A Kansas woman.
Yeah.
She was selling body parts. You read this story?
Oh yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
And guess what state she was shipping them to? Who was buying them? Did you read that far?
Florida, right?
2 states. Well, yeah, I was going to say.
Florida and Pennsylvania.
Yep, Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Yeah. For reminding listeners, those are the 2 states Tim hates most. So if you are in those states,
I don't hate PA.
You do know. Well, there was also the weird bit in the article about her accomplice who, like, so this article, this woman was not a medical student, a mortuary student.
Yeah.
And she had been, I guess, taking pieces of practice cadavers that they're using for embalming techniques and stuff, and had sold like a skull.
I got it here:
and a brain,
ear, arm, lungs, liver, kidney, hands, breasts, penises, fetuses, and skin. Ooh, and skulls. Ooh.
Yeah.
This reminds me of Mr. Wonderful Life himself.
Man,
he
Tim,
stole body parts. He stole a Yeti scalp. Come on, bring me back to
Jimmy
that.
Stewart. True story.
Jimmy
love
Stewart.
Tim when you went midway through delivering a line, you give up and heavily sigh.
I wasn't giving up. I didn't give up. I'm not giving up.
Yes, Jimmy Stewart famously stole the Pangboche hand from Tibet while he was on vacation.
I gotta find a book about
back
that.
for testing. There's a bunch of books about it, weirdly.
Okay.
Type in Jimmy Stewart Pangboche, Pangboche.
Not now. We're talking about this.
Jimmy Stewart's.
That's it. That's it for the body selling. Body parts.
All right. That was a good story.
Let's get to the movies. I'll be John.
Good.
Say this movie's called 5 Minutes to Love from 1963.
It's also called The Rotten Apple.
And it's also called 5 Minutes.
It's also called 5 Minutes to Live, apparently.
Yes.
But that's maybe a separate movie. And I'm glad you're going to take John because, man, I watched this movie.
I loved it.
Couldn't tell you what.
I wish we watched this every day for a year. Every week for a year. I would do that. I would do that.
Do it. Cut all the references I made to the other podcast. Pretend it's your idea and do it. Did you really love it?
That idea?
No, this movie.
Oh, how well. I got to.
Because here's my feelings on this movie. Put very clearly and succinctly. I feel like the fact that John is not here to discuss this movie that he chose is akin to John standing at the entrance of a room that you and I are in, pulling the pin on a grenade, throwing it in, and then shutting the door and running away giggling. This movie, I think he did this to hurt us.
But I loved a lot of things about it. But let me give you the synopsis at least.
Oof, good luck.
Well, just a simple one. Bed. Wow, this is so simple.
Wow,
Ben and Edna and their baby daughter, they're headed to California, and their car breaks down, and Ben ventures off to a junkyard in search of a spare part to fix his car. That's the basic plot. Gives you a beginning. Yeah, all right. Directed by John Hayes, and I found another movie by his I almost picked, but I don't think I'm gonna. It's 1977, George. He directed a bizarre movie. Anyway.
I'm curious what it's called.
The End of the World, I think. 1977.
Okay. So what this movie has going for it, I guess it was a near forgotten movie that achieved some level of notoriety because it stars Rue McClanahan. Doesn't star.
No.
She's definitely a supporting character, but she does... weirdly is like a titular character. Like
in a way.
The movie name ties in with her.
Her name is Poochie, by the way.
I didn't pick that up, and I hate it.
What? You didn't hear that her name was Poochie?
Well, can I confess something about this?
You watched the movie 5 minutes ago.
No, I watched it earlier today. But this is the sort of movie. So I like to in our day jobs. Tim and I, like, you know how there's like we often make the Frasier comparison. We're both cartoonists.
Yeah.
So I like to watch these movies while I'm inking. I've already penciled the page. I'm inking. The worst kind of movies to watch for this are these kind of early 1960s movies where there's nothing happening dialogue-wise for great stretches of time. Because then you have to kind of stop inking and really watch.
Right.
And this movie has a lot of idle waddling, like wandering around on roads and
a lot of words.
In the one set, which is a junkyard.
Right.
And so there's a lot you have to like just kind of pay attention to.
Yes. They thought they were doing Shakespeare.
Well, it did have the aspect of being like a play, didn't it?
It did.
But it was slow going is what I'm getting at. And so watching this thing, I was like, I suddenly had an idea. I'm like, you know what? I think there's a way to play back movies at double speed on YouTube.
Oh, no.
I watched this entire movie at 2 times as fast.
What?
Tim, it didn't really make a difference. Weirdly, especially the jazzy score sounded good. It didn't sound like music sped up. I'm like, this movie is on Quaaludes, and me speeding this up made it move like a normal film.
That's true. I believe
so it really, like, it didn't have like any sort of weird chipmunky like effects. Like some of the characters' voices were pitched higher. Oddly, some really weren't. Blanche sounded kind of normal. King Moody.
But by Blanche, you mean Poochie?
Poochie. King Moody, the original Ronald McDonald, who plays like a psycho in this movie, he sounded pretty normal. Like, it was weird. This movie is like slowed down and just like, whoa.
King Moody plays a man named Blowhard. He was Ronald.
Actually, could you do the cast list? Because I want to actually write these down too. Because
now,
yeah, so people can follow what we're talking about. All you told them is that guy. So there's the guy Ben. Ben is driving to California.
Let's just hit the plot
because he heard about a new job.
Yes,
in San Francisco,
somewhere in California,
and he's traveling with his wife Edna. Edna is blonde, and Edna has a baby. They have a hilarious screaming fight where he's like, she's like, normal people don't have to work this hard. He's like, well, it's your fault for getting pregnant. And she's like, I got pregnant by myself. And then like seconds later, the fight's over. She's like, I'm sorry, baby. Yes. And he's like, I got to go find the starter for my car. Right. And he wanders off down the road, leaving it has very strong horror movie like
it vibes. Does. She has that baby. Yeah. It's a girl. I think that baby was played by a boy.
What was the baby's name?
They never said.
Let's call it Tinkles. Tinkles the baby.
I think it was played by a boy baby.
Wait, was it a girl baby even? Why are you even saying that?
Because they say it's her daughter in the synopsis. But I think he was a boy.
But not in the movie anywhere, right?
You remember that Little Rascals where there was an adult robber dressed as a baby? You remember that bizarre one? And Spanky's the one that figures out he's a man pretending to be a baby. He's in a baby carriage, and like the ladies go, "Oh, look at the nice baby!" And he's like stealing their necklaces and stuff.
Wait, really?
You don't remember this Little Rascal episode?
I think I've actually mentioned on this very program the only Little Rascals episode I remember is the one where Spanky's on stage and his mom's clothes get torn off. Because I was like, I was kind of dumbstruck as a kid. I was like, what?
Never mind if you didn't see that one.
No, I didn't realize Little Rascals was that silly, but I guess
it was super silly.
Yeah. So, wait, was the robber a little person?
Yes, that's why it's.
Oh, wow, that probably was not handled well, huh?
No. They do the whole thing. He's just like a baby. He's smoking a cigar.
Oh man, it's like Baby Herman from from Roger Rabbit.
Exactly.
Okay, so I guess we meet Ben. Frustrated guy going to California because he heard there's a job there, which is hilarious. Like moving across country, like I heard there's maybe a job in California. There's probably one.
And he walks
Edna, his young bride, and he walks and tinkles the baby. They walk to this auto junkyard.
He does. He leaves the baby.
Oh, he does. Right. He leaves the baby
because he walks down the road and he walks by a dead cat, and I'm like, oh, symbolism.
Missed that.
You missed it. Oh, he walked by a cat that was laying in the road, and you're like, oh, there's a cat in the road, and then I hear a car coming. I'm like, uh-oh. And the car like runs over it without hitting wheels. The wheels don't hit it. And you realize, oh, that cat's already dead.
Oh, wow. See, this is the perils of listening to a movie that has no talking.
You were just hearing the jazzy music.
The movie probably, it was very, but Tim, at this point, I hadn't sped it up yet. I was maybe like a good 20 minutes into this, but I'm like, I need to end this sooner.
We know it's bad. We're pulling humor and poetry out of this. This movie is bad. It's bad like dirt in the ground. That a king once shat on and a dog walked on, and that dog was a friend to a cat who's owned by some poor schmo who worked in the dirt and ate dirt, and then he pet his cat and he felt sad because it's all fruitless. And even though the cat was a friend of the dog and the dirt was the dirt that we all walk on, walking is the only thing that's free, man. It ain't free.
Was that your poetry?
That's what this movie was like, right?
It kind of was. Yeah. So at the auto junkyard that Ben, the stranded motorist, walks to, there's the owner who's just the biggest dick in the world.
Yes.
What's his name?
Harry. I remember that. He kept saying, oh, Harry. Harry, help us out here. The police chief was like his pal.
Yeah, and we'll get to the police chief because then there's King Moody, who is blowhard.
They're all high.
I guess
this is like Beware the Blob. This whole town is high.
Yeah, but Beware the Blob is funny, and this movie was just weird. There was a guy who was like a heroin addict or something, right? Like there was a guy who was on harder drugs.
Yeah, so we suddenly saw him in a hole in the ground, and he was reading his poetry.
Yeah, I didn't know what he was about. Who was he?
I don't know.
I'm just gonna say let's come up with a name.
We didn't get to him yet
so
because first
right.
Harry meets Ben, and as you said, Harry's a dick, and he's like, "You want to do push-ups? Where are you from?"
He won't sell him stuff. He keeps making him do push-ups.
Yes,
and Ben, because Ben's like a little apparently like a little sub pig. He's like, "Yeah, I'll do you push-ups." He's like, "Is this good?" And he's doing push-ups over a weird hole in the ground.
But instead, Ben goes and visits Poochie, played by Rue McClanahan. And
he is instructed to go into Poochie to pay because he's got $5. And Poochie, she is.
She's giving him beers. She's talking about how she slept with a 14-year-old kid, and
that was upsetting.
5 minutes. It only takes 5 minutes to make love. She doesn't say it. She's just like, only takes 5 minutes.
Only takes 5 minutes.
That's the name of the movie.
There's no sign of what happens afterwards. And Ben's like, but I would know.
Yeah, she says there's no marks. I'm like,
there's no marks. I'm like, I don't know.
Yes.
And she was also trying to offer beer to Harry, the owner of the thing. Like there's something wrong with her. Like she's had a trauma in her life.
All of them. They're
all yeah. Oh, let's stop. This movie, everyone's terrible.
Everyone.
There's one. I would say maybe Edna, the one with the baby, like she doesn't seem like she's as terrible, although she does
abandon
her opening scene is her screaming at him like, my life wasn't supposed to be this way. But she's married to Ben, so I can see why she's upset. Because Ben sucks all the ass.
But later in the movie, she does leave her baby to run away from people. She's like,
I was like, where'd the baby go in this? We'll get to that. All right, so Poochie.
Oh, we forgot an important plot point before this.
We did?
Yeah, they established that Blowhard and Harry, they steal parts from cars. That was how the movie started. And the cop doesn't see them. And they steal them.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I didn't pick up at the first. Because while Ben, the stranded motorist, is in with Poochie, who apparently is a sex worker of some sort, but also has like some like mental issues. Like doesn't seem to have a full grasp of reality.
No.
The police chief or the deputy maybe comes and he's like, I know you're stealing cars,
right?
Parts from cars, and I got to arrest somebody because the chief's making me. And Harry decides to he's like, oh yeah, the guy who steals my cars for me, he's here right now.
Yes.
And so
the
Ben
police just
walks outside. Well, not just that. They walk outside and he's like, yeah, this is the guy who steals my stuff. He's like, what? I won't admit to it. And then he just beats him.
I know.
The cop. And Harry's like, yeah, get him one for justice. And he's like they're standing aside. He's like throwing like fake punches. And they just the cop beats Ben unconscious. So the cop, what's the cop's name?
Oh man, that one I missed out on.
I think his name was Copper Top.
We'll call him the cop.
Copper Top. So
you're missing when he wanted to buy a starter. And
I thought I said that.
He found the right, but he found the right car. I guess I'll insert some clips from the movie, but when he wanted to buy the car, he's like, it's that smashed up car. I got the part I need or something. And Harry's like, yeah, that car smashed up. The lady was smashed up. The radio was smashed up. The seat was smashed up. The paper was smashed up. The Bible was smashed up. The beer was smashed up. The checkbooks was smashed up. The Pat Boone albums was smashed up. Poetry books was smashed up. All that dirt that King Lear shat on was smashed up.
And the Osmonds were smashed up. Let's go.
It went on.
It was pretty long. Yeah. Pat Boone. Oh, I knew it. I knew Pat Boone was coming back.
No, that's what he said.
Yeah. So the cop beats Ben unconscious. And then Edna, his wife, comes looking for him, carrying the baby.
That's right.
I guess past a dead cat. I wonder how she reacted to that.
The baby was very traumatized. She covered the baby's face. Don't look.
So they show up, and first she meets the guy who's like on the really hard drugs. We didn't give a name to him either.
Poet. I call him Poet.
All right, the poet. The druggy poet.
Who's a famous poet? Come on. We'll call him Byron.
Allen Ginsberg.
I'm going to call him Byron.
Byron. Okay. So the druggy poet Byron is like yelling shit at her, which is like weird non sequiturs, and then she runs into King Moody, aka Ronald McDonalds,
AKA
the original
Blowhard.
actor, aka Blowhard, and he decides he's like, here's the piece. She's like, oh, my husband bought it. He's like, he's being all evasive because everyone in this movie is a fucking weirdo creep.
They're all high,
and he ends up just chasing her. Tim,
they're all high.
I've been in your presence when you were high, and you don't chase me around.
They show them in the movie smoking pot.
I know, but like,
shocked.
don't blame this. Don't. That is actually, yeah, that was. And they said, I think they even said marijuana. I was like, wow, were they allowed to say that back then?
Yeah.
So then he's trying to like chase her around.
Yeah.
This part, I have to say, this is a part like there wasn't a lot of dialogue, and as I mentioned, I was watching this sped up twice. It looked completely and sounded completely normal. What the hell were they like crawling in the original film? Like just them running looked good.
They were just running
the
around.
Music sounded fun.
Yeah, I'll have to try this sometime.
Yeah, I'm gonna try this with all your movies from now on. If only they could speed up 5 times.
We're digging diamonds out of these movies. I don't think you quite get it yet.
Those aren't diamonds.
I'm here every week. I'm still here. And you're still here, and I pay taxes, and I sit here, and you drive there, and we drink here, and you poop there, and King of England doesn't have a starter, and you know you can't start without a starter, and
you know what's
you can't
weird?
finish.
Everyone, I want you to know this. I'm watching. Tim is reading this off something.
No,
this isn't Tim just. He's looking to the side very consistently. Like this is Tim wrote this beforehand.
This is from the movie.
Is that actually? I mean, to give people a sense of the script, that literally could be verbatim stuff from the movie. It's very. It does weirdly sound like pseudo Shakespearean writing in some way. It's like if Stan Lee dropped the worst acid in the world and wrote like a play where he was trying to be very serious.
Right.
Because it's very purple prose and overwrought, but it's like very non sequitory.
Yes.
So Blowhard is chasing the wife who has just ditched the baby somewhere.
The car. I saw her do it.
In a car. She puts him in a car.
Upset me.
Or her in a car. He attacks her and he's like trying to like, assault her.
Yeah.
And she grabs a big shard of glass and sticks it in his back.
That's right.
But he lives, but she gets away. She runs with the baby and then she just runs away.
He got a pretty bad infection. Piece of glass in the
he eventually gets tendinitis? No, tinnitus? No, something. He gets herpes.
I had this
he gets the herpes.
argument with John. Yeah, he gets a ringing in his ear.
He's like, "Oh, I shouldn't have gone to that bare naked ladies concert." Then I'm actually a little hazy what happens here. She gets back to the car and the cops drop off her husband who's been all beaten up.
Yeah, because she's like, "Oh, what happened to you?"
And it turns out he won't confess to stealing the car pieces because it's like, I mean, it wouldn't stamp. So like, there's a scene where the cop is talking with Harry, the owner of the junkyard. They're like, I guess we got to blame Blowhard. He's like, yes, just blame Blowhard because someone's got to go up for it.
But I do want to let the audience know that we already had a big scene where Moody talks with the police. And he's like, I guess we'll blame this guy, this Ben guy, and I think they were lovers.
Wait, you think who were lovers?
The cop and Blowhard or Harry, because they were like,
you think so?
Sure, I'll do this. Yeah, I'll do that.
No, actually, you believe it or not, I can't believe this. They actually explain why they do that. Because he goes, no, he does. There's a bit where Harry, the owner, is like, you think you're smart, but you're not that smart because I give you money, and you know what? You come into this office to get that money, and I have a special camera there. That special camera takes. He's blackmailing him because he's a crooked cop. Because everyone in this movie's bad.
Okay, I forgot that.
Now this is the weird part for everyone. So the quote unquote heroes have been reunited. Ben is all beaten up, but he's dumped back with his wife with a car that is fixed and works.
Yeah.
So he can just continue into California where he heard there might be a job. He becomes revenge obsessed. He's like, they can't kick dirt in my face. I gotta go back. She's like, Harry, what? Ben, why are you doing that? And it's his whole so he even though he escapes with his life in a bad beating with the cops, so like you're not getting help here, he decides he's gonna go back and get revenge. Meanwhile, the cop arrests Blowhard.
Yeah, because then he's
Blowhard's like, why'd you leave me out to dry? Why'd you hang me out to dry? And he's like, someone had to. I'm Harry. I'm pure evil.
And there's another plot twist because the police give Blowhard a knife and like, why don't you take care of Harry? It's like,
oh yeah, wait.
Plot twist upon plot twist. The police everybody's playing everybody.
Yeah, what happens then?
Well, Blowhard goes back with the knife. He comes into Poochie's place and he's like, get out of here. I'm here to kill Harry. And
Poochie's Rue McClanahan, just reminding people.
And
traumatized woman.
Hey, you jumped ahead so far.
Did I?
Well, this is the end. Well, that Harry does come in, they fight, and then the deputy just bursts into the door and shoots Blowhard.
Oh, yeah.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah. The deputy shoots Blowhard, but the way it's shot is so funny where he's cringing on the ground and the deputy walks in the door and the door opens and you see the deputy with a gun and he shoots him, but the actor, King Moody, playing Blowhard, has no reaction whatsoever. So I thought it was one of those things you always see in a movie where you think a character gets shot, you hear the gunshots and another character falls over. No, he does get shot and he dies. And then Ben, the motorist, comes back.
That's right.
And I don't know. I think the captain and Harry, the owner of the junkyard, are off doing something. He comes into Poochie's place. There's a very weird shot where they're kind of spinning around for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Where she has a knife or he has a knife or.
Yeah, they got that knife from Mr. King Moody.
Yeah. There's a knife fight thing, but I don't know. Nothing happens. Then Harry comes back. The police chief is gone. Harry comes back, and he gets in a big fight with the with Ben, and it looks like he beats Ben, and he drops him down the hole he was making Ben do push-ups on before, and he's throwing trash down on him. But then Ben just comes out of the hole behind him.
Wait, that's a great shot when he throws him in that hole, and he's throwing car parts on him. It's clank, crash, all stuff, and then he jumps out like a cartoon. He jumps out like Spider-Man. If you weren't looking at the screen,
behind him, yeah, he jumps out like he somehow climbed up, and then I guess he beats up Harry.
Yeah, and then because he doesn't kill him, they talk with
he doesn't kill him.
With Poochie,
he's laying on a piece of
Poochie's only 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
So I guess Poochie's gonna have sex with the the physically beaten up Harry, and
we did a bad job of this.
No, Tim.
Well, I want to say Ben went to get a car part. He got framed for being a car thief by the worst police ever. Yeah, and then the police played everybody to kill everybody. They wanted to get Harry killed, but Blowhard got killed.
Harry, the owner of the place, is a fucking nihilist.
Yes,
He's like, I'll check this guy as a customer, and when that doesn't work, I'll take my best friend. There is this weird druggy poet wandering around who just kind of wanders in and out of the narrative.
He tries to leave, but King Moody says, "You'll be back. You love the weed. You love it." He's screaming.
Is that really a scene that could have actually
happened? You didn't hear
I'm
that?
not sure.
Yeah, he was like, "You'll be back. Tim. You love the weed. You love it."
Wait,
he's saying that to the poet because at some point the poet's like, "I'm getting out of here. I'm gonna go find my own scene, man."
And should we talk about the final shot of the movie?
Oh,
we're looking at a door, and there is our co-host, John Kelly, and he just takes a hand grenade and goes, "Enjoy watching this pile of trash, you fuckers," and throws the grenade right at Tim and I, slams the door, and we hear his laughter as it explodes. That's the end.
That's the end. Great.
This was a great movie.
I got to turn your attitude around, George. Just...
No one will turn my attitude around. Here's two things.
What?
A release date of after 1970 and color.
Okay.
These black and white ones are just like, blah. I do want to talk a little bit because this is something notable. Rue McClanahan was super interesting seeing her that young, wasn't it?
It was. I don't know her age.
I don't either. I mean, the Golden Girls' ages are very mysterious to me. But she was very young and insanely angular in the face. She had a face that was a square.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, like I'm being hard on this film, but
No, it was bad.
I think it was better than some of the other movies we watched. It was not ineptly made, like say, the Biker Girls one.
No.
Like this was like, and there was actually some angles that were interesting.
Mm-hmm.
There was some framing and stuff. Like the writing, like I said, was a lot of weird, overwrought non sequiturs, but there were performances being handed in by some of the characters. I'm gonna say, like, I thought like Rue McClanahan was a pretty good actor in this. I thought Blowhard was pretty good. I thought the guy's wife was pretty good.
Yeah,
and
the police and the deputy were the worst.
Harry wasn't bad though. The owner, he was kind of like,
yeah.
So it was actually like there was some decent stuff going on. It was just like, it was just weird. It was a very weird film.
Yeah,
but like strong shades of horror movies, but like not. It's like a horror movie that never remembered to be a horror movie.
Yeah, it's like it's similar to Texas Chainsaw Plot, except.
Wish you hadn't said that, Tim.
Why?
You'll see shortly.
Well, is Texas Chainsaw something you're going to talk about?
Yes. All right.
That was that. I guess we'll do revenge time. Wherever you are, wherever you're hiding, I'll find you. I'll get you. I'll get you.
Revenge.
I'll get
Revenge.
Revenge. One of us will die. One of us will die.
I will not let Cindy take my place. I will have my revenge.
Yeah.
Okay. What was that question? Who will most likely from this movie manage a professional wrestler? Right?
Oh, it was manage a professional wrestler.
Yeah.
I thought you said married to a professional wrestler.
Manage.
Okay.
I can double check.
All right.
I want to double check.
No, we could do
The manager, but professional.
I know who it's going to be.
Well, it could have been any of them. Even the baby.
Oh, that's a good one. Actually, I will say that the baby, because this movie is very old. We didn't actually say, but it's got to be in the 60s, right?
Yeah, it's 61.
Ironically, the baby actually did grow up to be a professional wrestler manager.
That's what you're going with? I got a yes and
this. The baby grows up to be Paul Bearer.
It's a girl.
Yeah, well, they just say that in your synopsis. Paul Bearer, the famous manager of The Undertaker. Do you remember him?
I know nothing about wrestling, so I'm going to have that.
Oh, then maybe I should change this. So
No, we're doing it. We're doing it.
Okay, all right. So
I know they
Paul Bearer, I'm going to do an imitation. So The Undertaker was a famous WWE champion. Still is. I don't know if I'm speaking in the past tense.
I've heard about him.
I think he's retired now. And his big shtick is he's like an undead giant who rises from the dead. It's very similar to the way Hulk Hogan. Remember Hulk Hogan would like Hulk up every match?
Right. Okay.
Undertaker like rises from the dead. He was this big dude. He would like do these choke slams. And he had
did he rise up out of dirt? Is that how they wheel a big thing of dirt in and he rises up out of it?
Coffins.
Huh?
Coffins.
Coffins.
Big coffins. Yeah. And his manager was Paul Bearer. And Paul Bearer was this guy who talked like this.
Really?
He was very irritating. Yeah, he was this doughy little guy with a mustache and wore like pancake makeup, so he looked really pale and like he was dead. And he'd go, "Listen to me, you people." And it was like this whole shit. And he would hold an urn. And the urn gave Paul Bearer his powers. Not Paul Bearer, Undertaker. It would give him strength.
Okay, what was in it?
And so that baby
dirt from his homeland?
It was the ashes of
his ancestors.
No, it was Tim. I'm going to reveal it. It was the ashes.
President Davis of the Confederacy.
No, of Ben, her dad.
Her dad. Ben.
Paul Bearer's real name. Paul Bearer's real name was Paula Bearer. Okay. Paul Bearer presented as a male, but that's just because there was an unfortunate overgrowth of hair on her upper lip.
Okay.
And the reason why she had such a high-pitched voice going, "Oh, Undertaker," was because she was, of course, a woman. Women tend to have higher-pitched voice. She was Tinkles the baby in this movie. So she actually grew up to become Paul Bearer.
My God.
Yep. Yeah, it was good. Good stuff.
No, I think it was the ashes.
Maybe she was just the ashes. Maybe they just. This is the sort of movie. Honestly, I don't think I would have been surprised if they just burned a baby in this movie. I'd be like, yeah, Seems about right for 5 minutes to love.
Okay. I'm going to go. Thank you.
Oh my God! Wait, I just realized I steamrolled that. I forgot that we actually are supposed to group work on this.
That's why I was helping you. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were.
See, I said ashes, and you went with
true.
it.
Yeah. All right. Yeah,
I still think it was President Davis's ashes of the Confederacy, but maybe he mixed some of those ashes with his father. Just be
Tim, they don't have to be. Nobody knows after the Confederacy collapsed in the 1860s. Nobody knows what happened to President Jefferson Davis. I assume he went on the road and heard there was a job to be had, maybe in California. He's like, I heard they're looking for a president there.
Yeah.
I think he was Ben.
You got your dates wrong.
Jefferson Ben Davis.
Wrong. You got your dates wrong.
No,
I don't think his name was Ben. I'm forgetting his first name. But President Davis
Jefferson
of the
Ben
Confederacy.
It's Jefferson Davis.
Yeah,
it's Jefferson.
Because
Jefferson Ben Davis.
He actually died.
He
got interested in marine life, and they had those diving bells back then. And he went down, and his foot slipped into a giant clam, and his foot was stuck there, and he drowned. Because that has happened to someone in history.
Oh no! Wait. So and then
it's okay.
Did they leave his body in a raft for 8 days? He didn't rot though, right?
Nope. No sunburns.
No sunburns. Jefferson Davis had really good sunblock. That was what the South kind of specialized in. Not just the debasement of human beings by enslaving them against their will. They made good sunblock too.
I'm glad you're bringing it around to something funny. Something we laugh about.
Controversial Seti Bimco too. Electric Boogaloo.
I talk about Pat Boone now, not. All
right, talk about your Pat Boone.
No, if I need to. If I need a villain.
All right. Oh.
Number 5.
Is Pat Boone your new villain?
Number 5.
So we have a new ranking. Number 1 is He Who Shall Not Be Named because it sends you into a frenzy.
2, Osmonds.
Number 2 is the Osmonds as a collective.
3, Mr.
Number 3,
Mr. Mad Max.
Mel Gibson.
Yes.
4
is Don Chaney. Stuck him in there.
Don Chaney.
He was evil back then. And then 5 is Mr. Pat Boone.
Pat
Boone should be higher.
Where does Jefferson Davis fall on this list?
He's number 7. What do you know?
He's number 6. Who's number 6?
I can't reveal that yet.
Aren't you? Didn't we establish that you are number 6? Because you're a villain, right?
It's that guy who played a baby in the Little Rascals short. He turned out to be a really bad guy.
That was also Tinkles. Tinkles got a lot of work back in the black and white days.
What happened with that? Has that story ever been updated? Remember the people adopted a child and they're like, I think this child's an adult. You remember that story?
Yeah, they did that movie recently, Orphan, which was kind of the plot of it.
It's about that?
I don't know. Because I forgot that was a real thing that happened.
Because they were in
right?
Yeah, it really happened. Because
I bet you John would know.
Yes, John knows all the baby.
John would definitely know
all the baby conspiracies.
Yeah. Oh my God, we should ask John about the Ginsburg baby because I bet not the the Lindbergh,
Ginsburg
not the Ginsburg. I'm still thinking of famous poets.
All right. We'll do our revenges. You want me to go first?
All right.
Or you want to go?
I want to go first because you kind of already spoke about mine.
What? You mean the Texas Chainsaw? You mean...
Shut up! Stop! All right.
You mean Leatherface?
I actually kind of don't want to do mine now because you kind of, by saying that, you've kind of ruined it.
What? Not.
Because that was the surprise.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Do something else. I'm going to have to come up with a new one.
What? It'll still be good.
No, it won't be. All right, so because
I am so sorry.
Mine. All right, here's mine because you're right. This did have strong vibes.
Cue the music.
Mine. The revenge was all right. Cue the music. All right, set the lights. It's time to get things started on Seti Bimco tonight. So Harry, the owner, who is actually the villain of this piece, it's he who gets revenge. The movie closes with him beaten insensate with a young Rue McClanahan climbing over him, threatening to do something in 5 minutes. Uh-huh. It only takes 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. And that's how we leave. And then, I guess Ben's there, Jefferson Ben Davis, whatever his fucking name is. Ben leaves. He goes off to California to find a job. Turns out, because this was a movie where they speak in coded language, it turns out, the whole 5 minutes she was talking about the whole time,
yes,
it wasn't sex. It was cutting people into pieces and making them into chili. So she starts it, but she doesn't succeed. He's able to wrestle away from her. But there's just a moment. They have this look. He's like, Poochie, all these years you lived in my junkyard, offering me beer. I never realized how just beautiful and perfectly symmetrical and square your head is. And she's like, Harry, I have mental cognization problems. Let's get married. They have a family. You may be like, how does this tie into revenge, George? Well, just you listen. Because they have kids. The first kid, he's a boy, but he probably... there's a lot to be like. Of course, Tim, you and I were very good about express your gender in every way you see fit. Just because you're born a sex doesn't mean that's what your true gender is. This first boy was born, and this boy's like, I want to kind of wear dresses. They're like, that's cool. That's totally fine. He's like, I want to wear dresses made of human skin. They're like, that's a little bit more troubling, but we're going to allow this to happen. And so this boy, he grows up to love chainsaws.
Right.
And then there's another boy.
Chainsaws? What could this be?
Yeah. Boy, what could this be? And then there's another boy there who's like, he's got like a plate in his head. And then there's like...
Wait, how'd you get that plate?
A previous movie, maybe. He's got a plate in his head, though, and he keeps using a belt sander on to make himself feel good. Because, yeah, and at some point, Poochie leaves. Because these fuckers are weird. But that little bit that she showed him about, like, making people into chili, that always stuck with the dad. And the dad's like, we're going to have, like, let's move to Texas. We'll make a big chili making
Wait,
thing.
why Texas? Come on. Give some context to this plot.
This was in Texas the whole time, actually. That's what you didn't realize.
Okay.
I know you thought this movie was taking place in Florida because there was no elevators, but Texas also had no elevators back then.
Okay.
And, they're the family from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. My steam went out. You kind of already ruined it.
Man, I'm sorry.
In my defense,
what a bummer.
I really do think that this kind of would work as a prequel in many ways.
Right.
Like, Harry does have some definitive vibes with the father from Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen it, but I'll say.
Yeah, and I was really doing Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 there more, because that's the one where they make chili out of the people.
Oh, okay.
And I only recently realized that it's, like, not supposed to... Like, everyone knows Leatherface, right?
Right.
But the two other brothers are two different dudes in those movies, even though they're played by the same actor, I think. I don't know, it's weird. Anyway, we should do that movie sometime.
No, it's too good.
Oh.
The movie is just a catalyst for us to have fun.
Yeah. You know what? When I watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that's a fun movie. I like that movie a lot.
I feel bad I ruined yours.
Well, no, actually, I think it more shows that great minds think alike. Like, I just watched this movie, and people, if you watch this movie, which I don't often do like the rankings anymore. Back when I had only a handful of appearances, I did, but like I will put this one. Like, there's parts of this that were pretty awful, but there's also parts that were like surprisingly good. Like, I don't know what to make of this movie.
Yeah,
but it does kind of. It gives you like some really strong Texas Chainsaw vibes.
The shot where he was running away and the train went by. I was like, that was the one kind of artsy shot. Were you looking?
Yeah, I was actually. And there was the weird bit when like he's spinning around Poochie, like, and there was like it was well lit. I don't know. It was weird. It was a weird movie.
Well, he made another movie. He made some other movies.
Don't you fucking dare.
70s. He made one in the 70s.
All right, maybe.
So here's my sequel.
All right, let's hear it. Start the music.
Start the music. I had a little burp. So my sequel. Ben and Edna's baby grew up to be a messed up kid. She always hated junkyards and junk mail and junk food and junk drawers and junk stock and guys calling their genitals junk and junk science and junk bonds and the junk man and the Chinese ships they call junks and junk her pet kitty. And junk she found in her belly button, even though she thought she cleaned it. And what? What do you want to know?
I was going to make sure that you didn't forget to mention the ships named Junk. Yep. Thought you would, but you didn't. I didn't. You surprised me, Tim. No, you got it.
I'm doing this in the style of the movie.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you should be like way drunker and higher.
Her father ran off like fathers do. He ran off to get cigarettes so he could smoke like the chimneys smoke, like volcanoes smoke, like burning cars smoke. And the smoke looks like clouds, and clouds could piss on you like a dog every day, like they do, like yellow piss, like Mountain Dew or Orange Crush. And her mother, she wrote letters to the police chief asking where the charges were and where the phone charges were and where the charges she gets out of candy bars that light up her mouth like that light on the dentist's head. She wrote letters down to the man down the street who never said hi to anyone, not even to the reflection in his mirror, the mirror that helped him not to cut his own throat. That's her mom. This kid of Ben and Edna watched it all happen, watched her family fall apart. Her name was Booty. Not like the booty you wear, but a booty that a pirate steals.
Would it be a booty you call?
Nope, not that one either.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to no-butt you once.
All right. Oh, how dare you? I'm such a good yes-ender.
She grew up in a small one-story house, just one story. Not like an anthology, which has many stories. She wanted more stories, even though she knew that stories are just what happen in the sky while you crush your dreams and grind them into a fine dust that covers all your furniture while you try to think of another reason to live. Or maybe just one more story so Booty could have 2 stories and live on another level and not this mundane level her mother lives on. It says Booty the daughter. She's all grown up now. This kid Booty got to be a teenager and ran off to that old junkyard her parents were tortured in. Poochie told her she could love her in 5 minutes or hate her in 6. 6 times 3 gets you the devil, Booty said. And baby, that's what Poochie got that night. The devil and one less car part. Booty killed her with a rusty hood ornament. An ornament.
Oh no, Poochie!
Ornament like Christmas. So Booty stole the steering wheel from the junkyard and left Poochie dead. You need a steering wheel, to get through this life in one piece. You turn right, you turn left, but you can't turn up or down. You go your way, I'll go mine. Mine, me, meat grinder. So Poochie can find her own way now. She's got 3 minutes to get to hell and she won't make it. And this sequel is called 6 Minutes to Hate or Booty and Poochie. Stop the music.
All right. So
What?
that was very good, Tim. I have a couple questions.
Yeah.
Is Booty and Poochie a reference to something?
No, I just like those words together.
You just like Booty? Because the whole time I'm wondering, where's he going with the boots?
Booty and Poochie.
All right. You know what's funny
Although
about
her boots
that,
were made for walking. I left that one out.
Oh, that's just what they'll do. What's really funny about that is let's be honest. Nobody who listens to this podcast is going to watch this film. We are the only 3 people to watch this film probably in the last 30 years. I don't think Cablasto will. No. No, he might even pretend he listened to this podcast. He's not going to watch this. But no one's going to realize that what you were doing was actually a very good approximation of the way the script was written in this.
Yeah. Yes.
So they're just going to listen and be like, Tim Hamilton has finally succumbed to his overwhelming OCD and is just having a full mental unraveling as I listen.
Well, we hopefully John will be back next week. George won't be here.
No me next week. So if it's no John and no me, it's going to be Tim just awkwardly rambling.
I got a fill-in coming.
Oh, you do? You got one officially?
Either way. I don't want to say.
Right.
We'll find out.
All right. So Tim, since I won't be here, I don't want to do the old grenade maneuver the way that John did here. So I think it's up to you to choose the movie. What's going to be the movie for next week in case anybody listening in at home wants to watch along with you and your mystery guest?
I'm sorry, you're going to miss it. It's a movie. Well, it's 1969 in color.
I don't know.
She Freak. It's only an hour and 20 minutes. And it's a remake of Freaks. Unofficial remake of Freaks. So I'm sorry.
Really? The Browning, is that his name? James Browning?
Browning was the director.
Yeah. But She Freak is...
It's on Tubi. It's about...
Oh my goodness.
About a circus with freaks.
The photo that comes up right away. Claire Brennan stars as a waitress who leaves the greasy diner business for the excitement of the carnival. She quickly discovers that she despises freaks and human oddities.
Well, if you've seen...
oddities, I might watch this.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, maybe I'll call in from the road.
She left a diner job for sideshow shop.
I don't know. That's not a lateral move. That's certainly not a climb up. That's like, I mean, aren't carnies famously like
terrible?
If you're cooking at a greasy spoon, right? It's probably not high dining, but like, don't carnies just live on fried dough and corn dogs and cotton candy? Oh, Tim, did we get any letters this week?
Oh, you bastard! You want me to read your letter?
Yes, I do.
Hey, we got a letter from George O'Connor.
Oh, wow, that's weird. It's been a while since that guy's written in.
You really gonna make me read your letter?
Yeah, I'm gonna fucking. You have to read this goddamn thing.
Well, I was listening.
Wait, what's the title of the letter first?
Hello, seditious Binkovites? Is that what you wrote?
Seditious Bimkovites. Yep, that's what I wrote.
Well, hello there.
That's what George O'Connor wrote.
Hello there. I was listening to the latest episode of Shetty Bimco.
Oh, is that how I sound to you?
The man from the 25th century.
Oh, no.
This is George's voice.
I'm going to have to do my Tim voice then.
And he was delighted to hear my name mentioned. I was not in attendance for this particular show or episode. Don't know that big word, episode. As I was touring in Massachusetts or some shit, who knows? Anyway, my delight soon faded to dismay as, true to form, Tim Hamilton began a discussion of his favorite topic of late, Adolf Hitler, who I like to make fun of. This episode...
Yeah, no, that's the distinction. Yeah.
This episode, Herr Hamilton specifically was talking about a cat named Hitler, who physically resembled the villain of the 20th century. Sorry, I keep going into your accent, George.
Yeah, it's very catchy. It sounds just like me. That's what people. This is me talking. This is Tim talking now.
To address this dismay, I thought I would take this opportunity to talk about some other significant felines, not ones that resemble fascist dictators, but rather ones that exist in the world of He-Man. Oh, John, I wish you were here. Which, as a reminder, is called Eternia, not He-Man Land.
Yep.
Any discussion of cats in relation to He-Man must begin with Battle Cat, his trusty steed. A Battle Cat is enormous, armored yellow and green tiger, who is also He-Man's best friend. Just like how He-Man secretly identifies... Oh, secret identity is nearly identical to Prince Adam. Battle Cat's secret identity is Adam's pet, Tiger Cringer. Is that right?
Yes, Cringer. It is the nearly identical Prince Adam.
Cringer. Okay, Cringer.
Cringer.
Like...
Cringer. Don't you dare mispronounce this name.
Battle Kate. A yellow and green striped tiger.
This is terrible.
Albeit somewhat
I might have to read this myself.
Smaller and without armor. But still, people in Eternia must have head injuries, not to draw a connection between the two.
Yep.
Not to be left out in the cold, He-Man's arch foe, Skeletor, also has a feline steed, a large armored purple panther named Panther.
Yeah, Panther.
Panther?
You got it. Panther. Yep, Panther.
Oh.
Yep, you were trying to make it silly, but it's already silly. You can't silly a Panther.
He-Man's ancestry, King Grayskull, rides...
Ancestor. Ancestor, not ancestry.
Sorry. King Grayskull rides a large green and yellow armored lion named Battle Lion.
Yep. Keep going.
He-Man's twin sister, She-Ra, does not have a cat she rides.
Nope, no cat.
But her
no cat
arch enemy is Catra.
Or Catra. Catra, as a human would say. Yeah.
Catra. An evil woman with Catra-like qualities. Catra has a magic mask that allows her to transform into a large armored purple panther. But not the same panther Skeletor rides. In addition to becoming a Kate herself, Catra sometimes rides on a large big lion named Claudine. Claudine, really?
Claudine, yes. Clawdeen for people listening at home.
There are several other cat people in the Masters of the Universe mythos, like...
Sure are.
Like
Katrina.
Kim Cattrall, the half-human.
No, not Kim Cattrall. Nope. Kim Cattrall's all human.
Chief Carniverse.
Keith Carnivus, yeah.
The leader of the
Acadians.
The Acadian cat peoples. But I shan't elaborate further. I will close my remarks to point out that although there are many cat characters in the MOTU, there are no Hitler characters because Hitler isn't cool, kids. Your loving co-host, New York Times bestseller author George O'Connor. P.S. Despite Tim's many protestations to the contrary, it totally sounds like he was annoyed by that Spanish-speaking bartender, and he was definitely making fun of her accent.
Go back and listen to that episode, folks. It's an incisive rebuttal to all of Tim's protestations to the contrary. So, Tim,
God.
Note your voice sounded just like on that. Like, I can't believe you stuck with that voice the entire time. You know, do you remember, like, there's the weird cartoon in Jurassic Park where they're explaining how they make the dinosaurs?
Yes, I do remember that.
They got DNA from the dinosaurs. That was the voice you were doing.
Was it? I don't remember the voice.
Sounded like it to me. Yeah, watch it again. That would be a movie to do, right? A movie people had heard of?
I don't want to.
No gets revenge in that.
I don't want to make. I don't. Yeah, there's too much emotions there.
Yep.
Too much connections, George. Connections. That's what they got.
Connections.
That's what the people got. That's what a poet got.
Well, I'll tell
Poets
you.
got words. The police got words and bullets. But the poet shoots you with their words. You get up the next morning.
The bullets got
police
points.
Shoot you with the bullets. You don't get up. Anyway.
These movies don't got points.
So that's.
I got a really good movie for next time I'm going to be around. So just you wait. You can be sorry.
All right.
All right. How do we close this now? What do we say?
We say, well, thank you for the letter, George.
Thank you for the reading of the letter in a weird voice, Tim.
I will be here next time, and there's going to be me and one of these two or somebody else with one of these two. We're going to see what happens. It's a mystery. It's like when Who Shot JR? They're going to have T-shirts. Yeah. Who hosted the show?
Maybe the entire first season will be a dream.
May 19th, 2013. Who hosted the show? They'll have T-shirts like that.
Oh, boy.
Who hosted SETI BIMCO?
I hope it's Killer.
That's a terrible joke. You're not yes and in there. I blame you.
That was a good joke. I said Kittler. You like that.
All right. We'll say goodbye then. That's all we got to say. Is there nothing else? Nothing else happened?
Nothing else.
My liver exploded.
I'm sorry.
My dog won't eat her food, so sometimes we just buy chicken liver, and I put it in the microwave 10 seconds. 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
And it must have an air pocket in it. I got out. The knife touched it. It went...
Did it fly around their house?
Yes, because it disappeared. And Jean, my wife, was next to me, and we're like, "Whoa!" And like we found it over on the toaster. We found it on the window. We looked up at the ceiling and said, "Oh, there's most of it's on the ceiling." It's quite an explosion.
What was your dog's reaction? Was like Saul?
No,
like...
she was laying down in the other room. It didn't make a big noise. It was just like a little tiny pop.
Weird. Now we know about microwaving livers.
Oh, chicken hearts. You got.
Oh, you said hearts? Why did I say
No, I'm saying also chicken hearts. We buy those for her, but you cut them in half because they will explode. They've got valves. They got I used to know the names. Ventricles.
There's ventricles and atria.
Yeah.
Atria.
Yep.
But I don't know that actually. I'm going to be a little bit of a nerd here. I don't know that birds.
Have them.
I think they only have 3.
Wow.
Yeah, because they're descended from reptiles.
You're nerd now.
All right. Oh, nope, I'm wrong. Birds have 4 chambers. It's all good. All right, bye,
I'm
everybody.
leaving that in.
Maybe see you next week. Maybe not. We'll see. I'm tempted by She Freak.
Okay, bye.
All right, bye, everybody.
This has been a Pity Party Line production.
Party line, it's a party line.
The dame was smashed up all over the upholstery. The dame was smashed up, the car was smashed up, the bottle was smashed up, payments were smashed up, the dough was smashed up, the radio was smashed up, the heater was smashed up, the kids was killed in the backseat, and the dog was cut in 2. How do you know? You like that?